When a powerful CEO disguises himself to check on his restaurant, he expects to find the usual hustle and bustle of a business day. But a chance encounter with two young boys changes his world forever. This story is about unexpected discoveries, hidden struggles, and the beauty of kindness. Let's start the story. Ethan Carter was the founder of a successful restaurant chain called Carter's Table. He had started with a small, humble diner years ago, but through hard work and dedication, he turned it into a nationwide brand known for its warm atmosphere and delicious food. Ethan wasn't just a businessman. He believed in creating a family-like environment for his employees and customers. However, as his company grew, he found himself stuck in boardrooms and office meetings, far from the heart of his restaurants. Ethan missed the smell of freshly baked bread, the sight of a waitress chatting with a regular customer, and the laughter of families enjoying a meal. One day, he decided to go undercover and visit one of his restaurants to see how things were running. He chose a small outlet in a busy part of town, a place that had once been his favorite when it first opened. Dressed in jeans, a plain shirt, and a worn-out cap, Ethan stepped into the restaurant unnoticed. He smiled as he looked around. The place was bustling with activity. A young waitress was taking orders, the chef was calling out commands from the kitchen, and the cashier was ringing up customers. Ethan joined the line to place an order. As he stood there, he noticed two boys, about 10 and 12 years old, standing behind him. Their clothes were old and a bit too big for them, but what caught Ethan's attention was their quiet conversation. The older boy, who seemed to be the leader, whispered to the younger one, "Danny, we can't afford a meal for both of us. Let's just get the bread." "You can have my share," the older boy said. "But Tommy, you haven't eaten since yesterday," the younger boy protested. Ethan's heart sank. He glanced over his shoulder discreetly to observe them. The older boy had a determined look on his face, trying to mask his hunger and worry. The younger one clung to him, looking up with wide, innocent eyes. Ethan couldn't focus on the menu anymore. He was deeply moved. Here were two children, clearly struggling to make ends meet, yet their love and care for each other shone brightly. When it was his turn to order, Ethan decided to pay for their meals without letting them know. He placed his order and stepped aside, waiting near the counter. As the boys approached the cashier, they hesitated. "Excuse me, ma'am," Tommy said softly. "How much is just a loaf of bread?" Before the cashier could answer, Ethan stepped forward. "Actually, I've already paid for your meal," he said with a warm smile. The boys stared at him in disbelief. "Why would you do that?" Tommy asked cautiously. "Sometimes strangers can be friends," Ethan replied. "Go ahead and order whatever you like." The boys hesitated for a moment, then ordered two small meals. As they sat down to eat, Ethan couldn't resist joining them. He introduced himself as a regular customer, avoiding any mention of his real identity. Over the course of their conversation, Ethan learned that Tommy and Danny had been orphaned a year ago and were living with a distant relative who barely took care of them. Tommy, being the elder, had taken it upon himself to look after his brother. They had been skipping meals to save money for school supplies. Ethan felt a lump in his throat. He had worked hard to build his business, but stories like this reminded him why he had started in the first place, to bring people together and provide comfort through food. As they finished their meal, Ethan quietly took note of their situation. After the boys left, he called his manager aside and instructed her to ensure the boys would always have food whenever they visited. He also made a mental note to find a way to help them beyond just a meal. A week later, Ethan returned to the restaurant as himself, this time in a suit, with his identity revealed. He called a meeting with the staff to commend their hard work. During the meeting, he mentioned the two boys and his encounter with them. To his surprise, one of the waitresses, Maria, stepped forward with tears in her eyes. "Those boys, they're my nephews," Maria said. Ethan was stunned. Maria explained that after her sister and brother-in-law passed away, the boys had been placed with their uncle. Despite her best efforts, she hadn't been able to gain custody due to financial constraints. She had taken the job at Carter's table to save money and eventually bring her nephews home. Ethan admired her determination and saw an opportunity to make a real difference. Ethan offered Maria a promotion and financial support to fight for custody of her nephews. He also started a scholarship program for children like Tommy and Danny, ensuring they would never have to worry about basic needs while pursuing their dreams. Months later, Maria officially became the guardian of her nephews. Ethan attended the celebration, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. The experience reminded him that his success wasn't just about profits, it was about the lives he could touch along the way. As he left the party, Ethan looked back at the smiling faces of Maria, Tommy, and Danny. He knew that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness could create the biggest ripples. That's the story, friends. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a pleasure sharing it with you all. Don't forget to comment below and let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see the global reach of these stories. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories, tips, and tricks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.